Hello everybody, and welcome to another edition of Roller Pigeon Evolution. I'm your host Smitty, and my co-host Danny Castillo.
What's up, guys?
Hey, thanks for joining us. We got a great show lined up for you. This show is an update on the Apodaca program. You saw the bird's eye view presentation. This is an update on that, on what we've done, what we found, using the Apodaca theory, which is the musselcock theory and breeding with musselcocks, mussel hens, and wedge hens. So, if you look what I've got up here, is an assortment of recessive reds. And then on the second level, we've got some blacks. And then over here, we've got some ash reds. And those ash reds are actually made from blacks and reds mating together. That's what I actually got out of them. Then on the bottom, you look, we've got some red models. Some beautiful specimens of red models. So up top, we've got a couple of these little wedge hens. So you've got a wedge hen here, beautiful recessive red. Right here, another one, beautiful recessive red. Here, this, believe it or not, is actually a cock. It's not a hen, it's a little tiny cock. He has what I need, so I'm gonna breed him to a mussel hen in order to produce cocks that actually carry the hen's type, but has everything that I wanna get from him. Right here, if you look at this cock, again, a mussel cock. That is my big red mussel cock right here. So when you talk about a mussel cock versus a cock that is a penny cock or a smaller cock, I'm gonna put these two cocks in the cage just so you can see, wow, this one's a little on the wild side, just so you can see the difference in size and stature of the birds. So these are both cock birds, but you'll notice there's gonna be a considerable difference in their size. If you look at that, musselcock versus something that is not a musselcock.
Yeah, you can definitely tell the difference.
Exactly. So when you feel these birds, there's a big difference in the way they feel too. Wow. So right here, these two musselcocks are brothers. These were both bred by Richard. And Richard picked these from the nest and basically told me these are going to be breeders, these are going to be musselcocks. And they definitely turned out to be just that. They're a lot wider and they carry a lot more bulk. And what I've done is put these cocks to little tiny hens like this in order to produce flyers. So this is a really narrow little tiny hen. Beautiful hen. And I'll put her to a cock like that. And the babies that come out of that are going to carry the hen's type, so they're going to be smaller birds for producing kit birds. Now, if I was producing birds for the breeding loft, I would take a cock like him and I would put him to a hen that carries a lot more muscle. If you look at this hen, this is a hen that was bred by Richard, Apodaca. And this hen produces cock birds that carry a lot more muscle. So if you look at her, compared to the size of the cock, she's actually a really good sized hen. So she produces cocks with really nice muscle. So I'll give you an example of another ephemera cock that is very small, but has everything that I need, and I'll put to a hen that has body to produce cocks that have a really good body. A little tiny cock. He's very narrow, very slim, but again, he has everything he should have. He's just small.
Look at that stance though.
Yeah, beautiful cock bird. But just doesn't have the muscle that he needs to. This hen produces cock birds that produce really good muscle. So he'll actually go to a bird that is very similar to that. Put her back down here.
And we were talking a little off the camera and stuff, and we were talking about making more videos and actually having some to fly this coming season too.
So last season, what we did, we put down all the Apodaca pairs, and we put them down based on Richard's theory of musselcock, mussel hen, wedge hens. And what we did after putting those birds down, we flew the birds. and Danny and I actually judged the birds, and what we found is we were definitely surprised.
Very.
We for the first breeding and watching those birds fly, yeah, we were shocked. Just excellent quality of roll, frequency, depth. The most important thing that I think overall that I saw on these birds was their speed.
Yeah.
It was just unbridled, ridiculous speed. I mean, the blacks, extremely fast. The recessive reds, super fast. The models, same thing. Across the board, across the family, what I found was just explosive speed. The other thing that I found about the family, they came in very early. You were looking at about 2 months, you saw really active birds. The third month, you knew exactly what you were going to get. The birds were fully into the roll at about 3 months. And I was really impressed with these birds. And again, one of the birds that I bred off of Richard Stuff was this cock right here. Just built really nice. I love the feel of this bird. If you look at him from the back, he's very wide across. Good muscle. Everything is up towards the front of the bird. And he's balanced. So I took this cock bird and put him to one of my hens, and I bred some youngsters off of this bird, and I was just really impressed with what I got. Beautiful quality roll, super fast roll, great depth. The birds were falling anywhere from 30 feet to some of them on the extreme side to 60 to 70 feet. But I was just really impressed with what I got.
We're looking to get some video for you guys to show you guys what we got. Some footage of the flies, you know, and some other videos.
Yeah, this season we're gonna. I've got some birds down right now. We're gonna put down even more of the Apodaca stuff, and we're gonna try to get some videos of just flying so you guys can see exactly what we saw. But definitely, the program that he put together is solid. It makes sense. It's a little hard to understand, but definitely if you've got questions about it and you want to put your birds down using this theory and at least try it out, shoot me some questions and I'd be more than happy to ask you. But like I said, you got muscle cock, muscle cock, muscle cock, muscle cock here, muscle cock here, 2 really small hens, wedge hens, and then on the bottom, these recessive reds or the models, spangles. Again, muscle cock here, beautiful hen here, a hen that's more of a muscle hen, little ephemerate cock, and a muscle cock on the end. These are birds that will be down this season. And let me put these two next to each other so you can get a good look at these two. Look at these 2 cock birds right next to each other. That's an example of 2 really nice muscle cocks. And again, when you look at a bird that is not a muscle cock, there's another cock bird right next to it. Very different in appearance, the 2 birds. If you look at the width of this bird, that's what we're talking about. He's balanced from tip to tail, but the width across is just very narrow. And then compared to this cock bird, still balanced, but look at the width across. Again, much wider. Much wider and much more muscle as you feel down his keel and underneath. He's just structured completely different. Very nice bird. But again, we talk about constructing your birds. You've got to build those birds. You've got to build them. They don't build themselves. You've got to build them. You got to be very diligent about when you're picking your breeders, picking your muscle cocks, and if you're going to create flyers, wedge hens on those muscle cocks, and if you're going to create breeders, you're talking about a muscle cock and a muscle hen. So a muscle cock and a muscle hen, that's what you're going to create breeders from. You're not going to use a little tiny wedge hen to create breeders. So once again, if you guys have got questions, please feel free to shoot me a little email, or you can shoot me something into the website and we can get your question answered. Once again, thank you for watching another edition of Roller Pigeon Evolution. I'm your host, Smitty. Oh, I forgot something. I wanted to do a couple shout outs to some of our subscribers. One, I want to make a shout out to Das Bush. Excuse me if I butcher the names. The Bang Thumaki, if I'm pronouncing that right. Damon Givens. The other one is Chia Zhang. Also, the Equalizer, Nikki Thunison, and then Dave Henderson, Rico Ace, and this one I'm gonna butcher. Praveen Nayaka. We want to thank you guys for watching. We want to thank you guys for participating, for commenting and liking the website, and keep doing what you're doing. Remember, ask questions, hit the like button, and you only know what you know.
All right, guys, thanks.
Thank you.
I swear I almost lost it all. But all I know is grind hard, they ain't taking my spark. You can learn to win till you take a loss.